all of the exterior framing. Hi, I'm Nick from Fouch Off-Grid. Last time we did a video, we put siding on the house. It actually took us longer than you probably watched in the video, but all of the siding is done now that we're able to do until we build the next thing. So the next thing is a mudroom. We're gonna put a mudroom on the front of the house so that we have an airlock, we have a place for shoes and coats, we have a little bit of indoor wood storage, and it looks something like that crazy shape that you see right there. I have the mudroom almost completely designed, but not quite. So there's a little more design time before we make any sawdust on that project. We're also in the design phase of the bedroom that we're adding on to the back of the house. With something like the house, or even a little addition on the house, we're trying to use lumber that is milled right here from these trees. And that is a labor-intensive process. So I don't want to either do more work than I absolutely have to on that and have a bunch of trees down that I'm not going to use in a timely manner. And I also don't want to run out. So I want to be able to do exactly the amount of work that the project needs without either wasting my resources or having to start a process all over again. So that's why I design to the extent that I do before I get started. It's a way to step through all of the different processes before I actually have to do it, so that I know that everything's in place before I get going. So we'll spend a little bit of computer time and I'll show you at least as far as I've gotten on the mudroom. All right, so the program that I use is AutoCAD. In my previous career, I used AutoCAD to do construction drawings for theater, for shops to build from. So it is the way that my brain is able to break things down into all of its constituent parts. I like AutoCAD because it is very specific. And it also allows me to draw and just put things where I think they look right, and then I can go back and get all of the dimensions from it, rather than having to know exactly how high I'm going and at what angle. I can just draw, I can make it look the way I want, and then retrieve all that information in the program. The other thing that I like about AutoCAD is the way that you're able to organize your different, what they call layers. So I have a layer for things I'm just messing around with, new stuff. I have a layer for the timber frame. I have a layer for exterior framing. I have a layer for foundation and slab floor, and all these different parts I put on what's called a layer, and then I'm able to turn those on and off. If I turned them all on, you'd see the entire house sort of stacked up on top of itself, and see everything from rafters all the way down to the floor. But you can't really read that very well. It doesn't make sense when you see it all together. So I can go and turn some things off. But when I'm curious about things actually lining up with one another, I turn everything on so that I can see that the rafter plan is situated over the timber frame in the right place. So here's the front view of the mudroom as it exists now. So it's all in red. This is one of my fooling around layers. As soon as I like it, then I move it to another layer and it turns the color of that layer. So I have 6x6 posts with a 6x8 header across, 4x6 rafters everywhere. And I'm just now starting to get around to playing with where a window would go in it, because we do want some natural light in there. I haven't drawn the exterior framing or where the new front door would go. But I have essentially the bare bones of the timber frame part of it, with all the roof framing in there. So this is what it looks like in plan view from the top. So you can see these are my 4x6 rafters with their little bird's mouth cut in them to land on the header. And these are my hip rafters. And those will be a little complicated, but I'll be able to do a lot of the figuring out of exactly what that rafter looks like in here before I'm dealing with a 9-foot long piece of 4x6 that's green and heavy. So that's why I figure it out ahead of time. So the idea with working with green lumber for timber framing is that these profiles, 6x6 and 8x8, and the sizes in the house, they're going to crack, and they are going to want to twist and change shape after they've been milled. The idea behind using them green is that you get them locked into this tight structure. And the timber framing joinery is designed to control some of that movement. And if you get it under cover and locked into the frame, that the cracking and the changing of shape is much less than if you were to even try and stack it up and dry it really well.
So we didn't do that with the house.
Right. So with the house, why you'll see some larger checks and cracks in our posts and a couple of our beams is because we did not get it done in a single season. Those timbers were milled to their profile and then laid up for about a year before they got cut into the frame. And they did twist and they did crack, and there was special consideration made when cutting that joinery on a twisted beam. I still had to make all of the joinery land not twisted to each other, but actually all coplanar. So that took a lot of extra time, the compensating for that twist when laying out and cutting joinery. This time, I should be able to do straight, just square rule timber framing, where I pick a reference edge, two faces that I really like that are 90 degrees to one another, and then I can base all of my measurements off of a common corner, and I should be able to go by the numbers rather than having to do so much scribing and leveling and messing around. So I have an idea for a window drawn in here. I also will put the front door in here, and I'll draw all of the exterior framing because we are wrapping this in essentially stick framing. And I'm going to do all of that drawing before I start building the frame. So if there's some discovery down the road when framing in a window or where the door is going to go, then I can accommodate that before sawdust is made and changes are harder to make. Awesome. The other advantage to drawing as completely as I'm capable of is that I can draw something that then I can use to communicate to my wife or to whoever I might be building for. In this case, it's our house, and I need to be able to show her this is what it's going to look like, without just saying, trust me, it's going to be great.
Although I totally do.
Yeah. Although sometimes we do that, and it usually turns out fine also. What was the other thing?
Engineers.
Oh. So when I did the plans for the house, I ran it in front of a timber frame engineer, because just the way that we were doing the roof without a ridge beam, I wanted to make sure that that was going to be okay with our given snow loads. With smaller structures like this, I feel pretty comfortable. Timber frame is generally pretty overbuilt for taking the kind of loads that we have here. I don't really have a fear that I'm going too light or too thin on anything, so I'm comfortable just winging it on these smaller structures. So the house is an example of the somewhat finished product as far as the design being carried out. The mudroom, you're kind of catching us right in the middle of having everything planned out and being right on the edge of making some sawdust towards it. The added bedroom, we're right at the beginning stages of it. So what do I do in the very beginning? For this particular one, I find that I stand outside looking at the house from different angles and just kind of stare at it a lot. And that is because it's a little bit of a difficult design problem to make the roof lines of the existing house and the added bedroom really work out in a smart way. So we can go out and take a look at the spot where it's going to go. This door will open into a hallway. And the boneyard will move. So there will be a short hallway here, and then a door into the bedroom. This window will go away, and we'll put in probably a proper vent hood over the stove. My idea for the bedroom is that it actually comes all the way past this corner of the house and cantilevers out over the hillside here, with a window down at that end that can overlook the pond. Probably quite a bit of glass on the west side so we can catch some evening sun. And as it comes out here, we'll have another door of some kind that opens out onto the deck. So there will be a deck all along this side of the house. The design issue at hand is that the roof line of the house at this end comes really pretty low. And I want a roof line that extends further out. So it's not that it's an impossible situation, but there are some choices to be made about how those two roof lines interact with one another. Sitting here staring at it gives me some ideas about how it might work, but I really don't know what all the issues are until I go and I draw it and I actually put pen to paper. So as soon as we have the design process wrapped up and I feel confident about what it's all going to look like, it's time to cut down some trees. So we're going to cull a couple of trees that are diseased and in the way of better solar gain. So we'll be taking those down, and you'll get to see me set up the mill and mill some lumber all over again. I'm Nick from Fouch Off Grid, and thanks for watching.
Good night, little house. After bats comes porcupines, and then a mountain goat, and then a mountain lion,